Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another add-on guide, and I've talked about it a lot before. In fact, whenever I make anything to do with tanking in any way, I always go on about how amazing this add-on is, and it's tidy plates, and it's about time I did a bit of a guide on it. So let's go through tidy plates and how to set that up. First off, I'm going to type /tidy plates in the chat. You can of course just go through the interface and then go to add-ons. It's there as well. You don't have to use the chat command. I just find the chat command's a bit easier because then it just instantly goes to the place that I want it to go. And then when you've got tidy plates selected, basically you can choose the different themes that you want, and you can choose so that like when you're in one theme, or when you're in one spec, so your primary spec, it'll use this theme. When you're in secondary spec, it'll use this theme. So for example, if I open up my talents and everything, this here is your primary spec. You can even hover over it and it'll say primary specialization. And if you hover over this one, it'll say secondary specialization. So that's how you set it up. So secondary spec, that's the theme for the secondary, and primary, that's the theme for the primary. Now, the ways you can just choose these, now, obviously, I'm in my secondary spec at the moment, so it'll only show up if I change secondary. So it's currently in Quattro tank. Now, basically what this means is, from what I've noticed, it'll kind of automatically sets it up so that if you choose one of the tank options, it will show the threat as being blue and kind of calm when everything's hitting you, the tank, because no need to worry, you're the tank. Things should be hitting you, so they are blue and they are calm and they're perfect. But when you lose aggro in the tank theme, they turn red, the health bars over them turn red, and then they kind of warn you, attract your attention, please go get aggro on this thing again. And if you choose the DPS theme, it's the reverse. When things are not hitting you, it's blue, it's calm. When things are hitting you, it's red, it's not good. Please stop getting hit, you're gonna die! So please avoid that. It's up to you, whichever one you want. Personally, I don't feel like it really matters. I have it set up for tank in both specs, because if I have it set up for two different ways, I tend to get kind of confused and confussed. So, yeah, I kind of like having it set up, both themes the same. I've got it set up as Quattro Tank because I like it. This is what Quattro Tank looks like. If you look there, we can set it up for something else. For example, if you choose Blizzard, it'll be set up with the Blizzard theme. And you've got Graphite Tank. I don't really like Graphite because I find it's kind of hard to see, actually. And then you've got Grey, Grey is also nice. I would say Quattro and Grey are probably my favorites, but I'm going to go back to... We've also got Neon, which is a little bit thin. I also like Neon, to be honest. But let's go back to Quattro damage. Alright. Now this next thing. Somebody asked me how I got the nameplates to be kind of on the level and spread out so that, you know, when a whole bunch of things were stacked up, the nameplates wouldn't all be in this giant mangled mass of ugh. You know, like if you've ever seen those elastic balls made out of elastic bands, like that's kind of how it would look if you didn't have it set up this way. I didn't actually know this, but the option isn't in tidy plates, it's in Blizzard. So if you see this big button here saying nameplate motion and visibility, you click that, it takes you through to the nameplates in the interface menu. And then you go down over here, and I have the unit nameplates set to spreading nameplates, which is when things are all stacked up, it spreads the nameplates kind of out a bit, so that it makes it easier to click and to see, and just it kind of makes things more sense. You can also have them stack, I think. I'm not entirely sure how that works, and if you can also have them overlapping. I have them spreading. I am not changing that. I do not want to mess with that. So if you want them looking like mine, choose spreading. And then let's go down to tidy plates again. And you can also choose like an automation, so show during combat, hide when combat ends, or whatever it is that you want them shown during, or, you know, whatever, really. Personally, I don't ever have them. I just have them on all of the time because it also kind of helps to be able to see health bars to make sure I don't walk into things I shouldn't be walking into and aggroing. And, yeah. Now let's go over into Tidy Plates Hub Tank. So this is for setting it up for like your tank theme, I think. So you go through here and you've got Style, Enemy Nameplates, Health Bars, Always Visible, and you can choose. There's a whole bunch of options. You know, you can just read what it is. I'm not going to go through all of them because it's a fair number of them, and they are kind of fairly intuitive, so you just click the one that you want. I always have them shown. Then you've got headline mode. You can have that by threats, by health, by level color. I just kind of leave that default. I leave a lot of the settings on default because I just like how it is, and generally what I might change is the themes. If I don't like the way that the theme looks, I'll change that, but I'll also show you something else that I also change. And health bar mode, I tend to have it color by threat because I'm tanking and I only really care about the threat. If something's going to die, it's going to die. And I can see if it's going to die by looking at the health bar. So I just have it color by threats because I want to be seeing if I have aggro, if I don't have aggro. You know, that's kind of what I have the add-on for, so that's what I want it coloring and really notifying me for. Now, you've also got this optional text field here. Now, if you look on the health bar, you'll see that it says Raiders Training Dummy, and then, well, zooming in just has no effect. But it's got a little skull there. Okay, that's not the optional part. If you see that question mark, and then in brackets it's got Elite over there, that's the optional text field of level. So I've found that a lot of the things with tidy plates, the problem is you can't really see if something's Elite or not. Oh, you can't really see its level either. So this will help you with that. It just puts like text on it. You can have the health if you want to see how much health it has. I don't know why you'd want that, but you can also see how much health it's missing if you want to have that, or approximate health, or its level and its health. Personally, I think that level is all I really care about, and I can, if I want to see how much health it has, I can just select it. So yeah, and then you can use the default Blizzard font if you want to. It really doesn't matter. If you use it if you want to, don't use it if you don't want to. Whatever works for you. So then you've got opacity. Now, with the opacity, I have it, again, pretty much set on default. And the thing is, with the current target, the thing that you are targeting, it's going to automatically be at 100%. You can change that if you want to fade it down a little bit more or something. And then non-target opacity, you can have that down to whatever you want. Maybe you want it at 0. Maybe you want it at 100. It's up to you. Personally, I like it at being, I would probably keep it around about the 50% to 75% range, because then you know what you're targeting without having to look down at the things. You know, when there's a giant ball of stuff, having a whole bunch of slightly faded bars and one bar that's like, boom! You are targeting me, good sir. That is quite helpful, I find, personally. And then you can move down and you can have, like, things, when you mouse over them, bring it to be more opaque, or when things cast, remember you can also set up tidy plates that when things cast, it shows the cast bar on the little bar here, just underneath there. It'll show the cast bar so that it helps you with interrupting targets when you're targeting one thing, something over there starts casting something, you want to quickly switch to that and interrupt it. You can also do the same thing, so that's for casting. Mouse over if you want whatever you're mousing over to be brought to opacity. Personally, I don't want that because I feel like it would kind of mess with the whole targeting system, but it's up to you. You know, this is your add-on. I'm just showing you how to configure it. Go for it. And I use target opacity when no target exists. So I'm not sure if it'll work here, but if we look at those health bars, yeah, there we go. They fade when I target one, but when I'm not targeting anything, they're nice and bright and easy to see. But when I target one, the other two and the rest, they all kind of fade a bit, which, you know, they're still visible, but it does let me see what I'm targeting. And when I'm not targeting things, I can just see everything nice and clearly, which is, I like it quite a lot. Then you can go down and you can filter things if you want to. Personally, I don't really use the filter quite so much. Like, if there's something you want to filter out though and get rid of, or, you know, something like that, feel free to use the filter options. You know, you can filter friendly NPCs, or filter mini mobs or something. I like to have everything on, and, you know, a friendly NPC I don't really need to filter out, because I never use the friendly nameplate bars, because I don't want them. But if you are using those friendly, maybe you like those for when you're healing or something, but you don't want to see the NPC health bars. Feel free to use that and get rid of them. You can also filter things by unit name, and it's got a little example for you there. And then you can scale things up, so you can make them, like, stupidly large, like that. So that is going to be slightly easy to click and see. I mean, if you can't see this, maybe you should get an even bigger screen, because that is pretty insane. What was it at before? I think it must have been at about 100. Was it 150? It must have been about 150. Let's leave it at 150. Anyway, so now you know you can also make it like super tiny little bars that you can never try clicking on that, seriously. Good luck. I bid thee good luck with that, so I'm going to keep it about 153, I guess. I don't really mind. I think you might be able to use... Nope, can you use the mouse wheel? No. Oh, there we go. Oh, it only goes one way. Alright. You can press the mouse wheel to the side. My mouse wheel only goes one way by the looks of things, though. Yeah. Weird. And then you've got scale the spotlight mode. You can change this however you want. So you can have the spotlight mode. So I think that's the one that's when it's doing an action that you chose earlier and it's being spotlighted. I think that'll be, for example, if you chose when it's spotlight when it's got aggro on somebody, then the spotlight scale will change. So maybe you find that having it change colors just isn't quite enough for it to grab your attention and hold it. So maybe what you want to do is you want to set like the normal scale to, let's say, 99% or 100%. There you go. So that's like the normal scale. And then the 300% scale will be like the spotlight scale, which will just make it go kaboom! Let's see if I can change the spotlights thing. Where was that? I kind of want to see. I can't remember what that was. I'm going to have to watch my own video to find where that was. But anyway, if you change the spotlight mode, it will it'll affect that. And then it'll just make it like super, super big. Let's not do that because I will be blinded by the ridiculousness of the size. Let's make it like slightly bigger, maybe 178. And then we can make that 150-ish. There we go. That's quite nice. Then we can go down here and you've got your all different kinds of colors. If you want to change the color, you just click on the color. So for example, friendly NPC, if you want to change the color, you just drag along the color wheel. If you want to make it lighter or darker, you move up and down here. You just click and then you just drag it up and down. And if you want to change the opacity of that color, then minus makes it less opaque, I think, and plus makes it more opaque. So it's up to you how you want to use that. But let's try it with these should be hostile or neutral. Maybe these are neutral. Let's see if we can change it with neutral. These neutrals? Can't see. Unfortunately, the training dummies don't seem to behave like normal things. Anyway, let's move on to the threat. You can change the colors the same way. You can highlight mobs tanked by other tanks if you want to, so that you know that they're safe as well. You can highlight group members that are holding aggro. I think that'll highlight the group members' health bar. I think I've never really used that. I find that when something is targeting someone else, it's big, it's red, it's shiny, it's got like a whole bunch of things pointing to it, and it's pretty easy to see, so I don't ever really tick that myself. And you can change health bar color, name text color, whatever you want. High health thresholds, doesn't really matter to me, but you've got the health colors here, so then you can have it be high health or medium health will be between the thresholds. So high health will be between will be above 70%. I think will be high health threshold, and then low health will be lower than 30%, and then everything between will be medium. But for me, it never really gets colored by that because it's always either blue because I have aggro, or it's red because I don't have aggro. And then you can change the spell casting ones. For example, you've got your normal cast, and then if it's uninterruptible, it'll have a different color to it. And then you've got the buffs and debuffs. You could change the icon style. Let's try and have a look at this. Zoom out a bit. So there we go, there's the debuff over there. So that's wide, and then you can make it compact, but that requires UI reload, so I'm not really going to be using that. But I have mine set on wide, and it's fairly easy for me to see. And you can show my debuffs, show my buffs, you can have it show specific auras. So if I just have it show my debuffs, then it should show, hang on, let me retarget it, I think it's kind of bugged out a little bit. And let's go back down there. Come on. Show my debuffs, come on! Don't break on me now, I'm getting a whole bunch of error messages. I think I managed to break the add-on through me just being horrible to it. But basically, you can have it show your debuffs, or show your buffs, maybe if you're healing again and you want the healing bars and your friendly targets. And then your specific auras, you can write down if there's specific things that you want it to track. So maybe you don't want it to track your lacerate. You want it to only track your armor debuff on the guy, or whatever. You can put that in the aura list if you want it to have specific things. And then you can track dispellable debuffs on friendly units. Again, that's if you're using the friendly nameplate bars, if you have those enabled. And then you've got other things that you can do. So you can show enemy class art, and I think that'll put like a little rogue symbol if it's a rogue kind of thing. Same thing for friendly targets. And same thing, I'm not entirely sure what totems do, because I've never actually seen a totem with this enabled, because I don't tend to have it enabled for totems with a totem art. If it's a totem, I can just select it and kill it. I don't really need to see what the symbol is. But sometimes I kind of like having the enemy class art or the friendly class art on just because it looks cool. And then you've got the threat indicator. If you don't want the threat indicator, you just tick that off. But I like the threat indicator. That is why I have this add-on, because of the threat indicator. It is so good. So you've got two things of the threat indicator. You've got the tugger threat and you've got the threat wheel. So the tugger threat is the little thing where it's got like a little bar on top and it kind of goes one way or the other. Like you're getting more threat, it goes more towards one side. They're getting more threat, it goes more towards the other side. And the other one is a wheel. I've never really used the wheel because I like tugger threat. It works for me. Feel free to test out the wheel though, see if that works for you. I like tug of threat. I think it is just so good. So I use it. And you can have party range warnings or anything like that. I don't tend to use it. And then you can have, I don't actually know what enable class and title caching does, I'm afraid, I just don't. But let's move on down to damage now. Same type of thing, pretty much exactly the same. You've got headline mode, by reaction or optional text field, you can change that to level as well. Not that this is going to affect anything, because I don't have anything in the damage theme. So you can change the opacity just like the tank, almost exactly the same. In fact, it is pretty much exactly the same in every way. So there you go. It is all there for you. All of those lovely jubbly add-ons. Let's see if I can manage to unbreak that. Can I please unbreak you? Please don't break. Let's see if it works now. It might need like a reload. Let's try reloading. /reload. Nice and easy. Maybe it just needs a reload, because sometimes they do. Sometimes it helps. Just a quick reload. See if it works. So hopefully that'll answer your questions as to how I get the bars kind of spread out instead of being all bunched together in some kind of mangled mess and all that kind of stuff. There we go. Yeah, it is showing. That's lovely. Ah, it's so good. Just needed a reload. So if it bugs out like that, now you know, just reload it. And then it works again, which is quite nice. It really looks quite good. I've never really just sort of looked at it. It looks really, really good, and, you know, it really is quite nice. Maybe I need to get it to show up on non-targets. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so I hope you found this add-on guide helpful, and I hope that now you know how to configure it kind of the way that you want it to be configured. Generally with tidy plates, there's like maybe one or two options that I might want to change personally. Maybe you want to change more, but I would say that the default settings are quite good. So if you get this and maybe you're just like super confused, just try changing like one or two things. If there's something really, really specific that you want to change, but otherwise there's nothing that you really need to do in the options page to make it work. You pretty much just install it and then it'll work. Now I know some of you will probably be thinking, but I'm watching this guide because I have tidy plates, but it's not showing the tug of war thing. And this is where I would say to you, be careful, because if you have tidy plates and then you have the plugin tidy plates threat plates, that's what's messing with it. Tidy plates threat plates, I have never managed to get the tug of threat thingy to work on the threat plates thing, so you might want to just get rid of threat plates and then it will go back to being like this. So if you're encountering that problem and you have the tidy plates threat plates, then that actually might be the real problem that you're facing. You might just need to get rid of that, and then you can log back into the game and have a look at it, and it should be working. And again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it helps you out tons and tons and tons. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in future videos. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy your awesome add-on. Cheerio.